is that I'm always in the mood to give head no matter when, where, or what. I'm always ready for you.
We like that. Yeah, we like that. I like that. We like that.
Come to your job on your lunch break and give you head. I'll give you head in the movie theater while you're eating popcorn. I'll even give you head if you're on the phone talking to your mom.
You loyal.
I'll give you head if you just got to playing basketball and your balls are sweaty. I'll go underneath the table and I'll give you head. If you go to the men's bathroom, I will sneak in there and give you head.
If somebody just had one of those.
I'll even give you head while you're FaceTiming another bitch.
Oh my God!
Yes, 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 yes. I don't know if anybody can hear me. Oh, yes, I'm in. As you know, that's many men's fantasy and future baby mamas. Let the music start. Okay. Let me check my sound on both ends. Looks I'm good. It looks like I don't see much viewing yet. I'll eventually get the playback. Welcome to another edition to Chaos Rain channel. As I go by the name Chaos Rain here. Welcome again to another stream. And so you know from the thumbnail and the title. And there's a lot of things on my mind. What's good? How you doing, brother? Before I go into this title, if you're not friends on Facebook, which waiting for it, add me on Facebook, Eric Rain on Facebook. Also, you can now add me on Twitter at SRain7. And to one thing I would like to say to everybody that's not custom or familiar, that I have laid out a lot of solutions. And enough solutions that really will cap off 2021. I think move forward on 2022, if I want to go there, is I might not be so kind to give simple solutions unless, mind you, only by request by people that have been active to this channel. And the reason why, because I think I give out too much information and a lot of people not being receptive to the information I give, nor because, like I said, it's a small channel, but still with small things, you get big results regardless. And I think most people are comfortable and fine with the problems they have throughout the social media and, let's say, the digital space we call YouTube. So I think the only way I'm probably going to go into giving my take on solutions on small problems is people going to have to probably be active in the comment section, and they're going to have to probably request that through my social media outlets, either Facebook, Twitter, or they could leave a question or a solution in the comments of every video here on the Chaos Rain channel. I think it's fair because, in my opinion, I think majority of people are wallowing in problems, and they don't think it's a necessity for solutions, and that's fine. I'm not getting mad at it. Let me see. I'm trying to add something. Oh, before I add it. Woo, what's good, Charles? I hope that you're ready to come up, Charles. If you want, let me know. Press 1. So that's the game moving forward. And the reason why I came to that, like I said, the decision, because it's evident that most people don't want it. So I will respect the wishes of people that don't want solutions to small problems. As you know, I have a catalog of problem solutions in regards to how you deal with things on the internet, not in a spiritual base, but things like trolling to maybe money, finance, which I have a guest that talked about how to hustle effectively in the 21st century. That video is on the channel as well, and including certain other topics I actually did cover. I think I cover mostly everything from economics to love, relationships, and even including how to deal with social media. If you could not take or learn anything from what I laid out for the past 2 years and really looked at it and sit down and listen to it and try to come up with your own tangible solutions or something that you could apply, then I have done my job. Other than that, you're just complacent, and whatever results that lays upon you is on your fault at the end of the day. So another thing, because let me see, because I'm trying to find other things. I might get it. I might make an Instagram page. I'm still thinking about that. I don't know. I'm not sure what y'all take on Instagram, but I think for most people that's going to be doing content, and I'm being dead serious, you're going to make a strong presence, not only on YouTube, but outside the digital space with Facebook, IG, I think they call it Telegram, any other outlets, even Twitter. You're going to have to use these other social media outlets to grow your brand and grow your presence in the digital space. I will listen to a young woman explain how to make money on here, and she laid out some very good information. Too bad most of y'all will never watch and know about it because she don't keep the videos up. And I think that is very disingenuous, but like I said, it is her own content. But more moving forward, that the information is here for anybody to use to take advantage and make and be better. And I'm gonna let y'all know, person, you're going to get haters. I've been hearing about this word floating around with a lot of people, men and women, and I look at it as haters is a good thing. You hear comedians, you hear people that are famous tell you, say, if you don't got no haters, you're not doing nothing. And much times I don't like that, but they have a point there because now you're drawing traction towards yourself. And certain people are going to repudiate and hate what you're saying because people are thinking one-sided. A lot of human beings today can't think for themselves. I hope you're aware of that. So if they can't think for themselves, they remain stagnant in their ways. So that's all I'm laying out right now. Let's look. Let me add a few links here for those that want to mess around. I'm going to add a Discord link. And if y'all feel free, if you're not comfortable with joining a StreamYard link, right now I'll put Discord link here for those that want to join on it. And that's pretty much it. And let me. And one more thing I do want to lay out. Let's get this out. All right. Those that want to support. It looks about right. That's right. All right, let's get into the subject at hand. The title for today's stream is a message, or say a message to the single mothers out here. Now, as y'all know, I don't really talk too much about single mothers on my channel. Last time I could check, and I've done almost close to 300 70 or 80 videos on here. And it's something I don't focus on because, like I said, a person that wants to be a single mother, that is a choice at the end of the day. And you have to respect the choice. But here, there's a consequence to every choice you make, ladies. One of the few things is that you're going to probably be raising your child by yourself and fend it for your own pockets, not from the so-called baby daddy, but your own pockets. Because what I'm noticing and what I'm learning from a lot of people, that a lot of women that chose to have these babies by whoever man they choose to, whether black or non-black, they're not really getting anything out the deal from these males that they choose to copulate and carry on with the child. And the saddest thing about this is it is your fault. And unfortunately, a lot of men have been telling y'all this, but I'm saying this personally because let's be honest, a child would be better being raised under with both of y'all present or around them so they could see a structural family household or a structural how people structural work things together as man and woman. And that's the glory of being in a long-term marriage, or you want to call a relationship if you have kids, because they see the falls, the struggles, the frustration, the argument, the fighting, and they understand that life is a struggle and people work through their struggles, whether good or bad. And that's one thing that children lose, that ability to see once they don't see father and mother together dealing with their problems and handle their problems effectively and civilized. I hope I'm getting to y'all. So if you're a woman and you decide to take and want the sperm and just have the children and don't want no father or no male presence unless it's necessary, you're doing a disservice to the development of your child, boys and girls. So, hold on. So what I'm saying here is that I'm trying to be nice and calm. I might turn up. We'll see how it is. But I'll be honest with you. When these boys come out the way they do, when I'm hearing a lot of women complain about it, let's be honest. Majority of your younger brothers or your sons, that's going to be men, you raised them to be ineffective. What's the one thing that Charles Faulkner always been reiterating for the last 2 years? And I done streams with the brother. He said the one thing that the black community does not care. Heroes of your narrative, the education, and black boys. If that's what I could recall. And this is what I could recall. But these are things they don't care about. And I agree with the brother. And the reason why they don't care, because let's be honest, throughout your development as a woman, throughout the centuries, you see and operate as an individual. Just like your young boys that grow up to men, they operate in the same fashion as individuals. It's a learned behavior, not something that you just born out the womb and you just know. You have to be trained and see and learn through not only environment, but also what you learn from your significant parent, individualism. If you look at any institution, they don't teach working or collectiveness with other people. They teach you to be a perpetual consumer. It is rightful duty as you as the parent, mostly mothers raising these children, boys, that you have to teach your sons and daughters something different, alternate what they get from the de-educational school system. And trust me, the school system is teaching your children nonsense. I mean, I've known, and just me, that now in certain states right now, as we speak, are now not teaching not teaching, my fault. They are actually removing what we like to call testing in the school systems. And this is, I think this is the state of Oregon doing this. And I didn't recover this because when I found the title of it alone, I just laughed at it and find it humorous that this is where people are going. And like most corporations, they have made a conscious decision to not only invest more time of teaching either child the basics or let them make sure they understand the basics well enough, but preparing them to be perpetual consumers for the rest of their lives. So, you knowing this now, that this is already out here and it's surely going to be spreading in every other state, that your children are going to be very much dumb, and they're going to be programmed to be even dumber. And if you know, like most men, if they really have a better understand, they don't want to risk their own children being dumb in the society. That's why you see very few fathers, and I said very few, will fight for custody of their sons. And it's more than just the money that they're concerned about. They're worried about what holds the future of their sons being raised by this one so-called mother that either chose, because it's a conscious decision, to be single mothers. That is the future and concern with some, or I would say majority of any fathers that have kids out here. Now, some people push back, say, well, most men out here don't want to be fathers. And that might be true. But here's the biggest question. What do you seek and want as a woman? Because at the end of the day, you are playing with this thing we call sex. You know why they never came up with a male birth control pill like that before they came with the female birth control pill? The reason why they never came out with it, and trust me, they still have it out here. They're probably working on it, or they have it already in circulation, or they're going to soon roll it out, is because they have understand that the seed of males has to run wild in the environment because it keeps the population of people going. That's my only rationale why they never came up with the male birth control first before you, ladies. Because they notice that without men impregnating these ladies, you will not see from less than a few billion 56 years ago to now pushing 8 billion people on the earth. Because they want the population to still be steadily growing. And I'm not talking about the black population, but just population in general. If they decide to control the males, if they see fit, you will see a decline in population overnight. To the point, it's that you are struggling just to replace yourself. I'm not saying most men would not go as far as take a pill so that way they can shoot up the club in your womb and knock you up. They just don't have it because, one, they don't want the slowing of the birth rates of a certain set of people. And two, let's be honest, if men got that option, they will be having regular casual sex and don't have to worry about knock you up. Now, as you know, Chaos Reign, I don't really push or advocate casual or just reckless sex on this channel mostly. And the reason why, because you're already doing that as a species, a race, whatever you want to call it, basically. And human beings are not going to stop having sex. Fucking, in other words. That's not going to happen. So, the second best thing is you control what comes out of the fuck. Which usually contraceptives, birth control, IV, Depo-Provera, all these things that's used to prevent pregnancy. All this out here. Now, another thing I do want to add on is I always hear this thing about the dangerous consequence of the body for most women use these things, especially the IV, the Depo-Provera, and I think those pills. And a biggest question a person should ask is, if these things are harmful for your body, then you should be more well tuned to study how your body really works. And that goes into a lot of women got to do the work to understand when they ovulate and when they don't. And there are books or women that are in the science that knows this could teach you that. Your mother's not going to teach you that, ladies. Because let's be honest, most of us are lazy and we think it's better to take things that's given to the environment, like pills and shots, to fix or suppress our natural desires as human beings. But real people that knows how to control their body and how it operates have better understanding of how to function in a very much degenerate society. And that's something you ladies, you're gonna have to probably either pay out pocket to a woman that's an expert, or you go do your research and find actual old books, texts to find out that information. You know, I mean, there's some ways that most men could suppress their nut busting ways, but like I said, most people, especially black people, we don't read enough these books. So like I said, that's not an alternate way, to really, if you're gonna be having promiscuous sex or casual sex, you're gonna have to go that route if you don't want to take on these harmful drugs that will hurt your body in the long term. I mean, I remember Depo-Provera, one of the consequences using Depo-Provera is you go sterile for the first 3-4 years after stop taking a shot. And it might also lead to other cancers, what I cannot name off the back of my head because I don't got the information right now pulled up, and I'm not going to Google it. But there are consequences using these things. So the best thing you could do, if you don't want to take any of these drugs, you're going to have to learn how your body really functions. And I'm not talking about how you able to bust your own nut, you squirt and all that stuff. I mean, understand the real anatomy of your own body. And that takes a lot of work. But nonetheless, you have the control and options to go that route if you choose to. But other than that, you're going to be out here, riding a cock carousel with a lot of men. And that's another issue that a lot of men really don't like. And they don't like, and one of those is they don't like a woman that's too promiscuous, from what I'm hearing. And that's cool. I mean, me, I don't mind that, Hold on. I don't mind it. But like I said, there are limits to how I look at promiscuous activity. And I think if anybody is serious about worrying about a woman's body count, if we want to go there, you want to hope and pray that she doesn't have at least no greater than 10. And I'm just being nice with 10. Because trust me, I heard stories and I dealt with not many women that I, had my fun with. How one admitted one time she had like over 100 bodies in the first 10 years of her life. And she was in her mid-20s at that time. So let's say a woman, and mind, she was a 90s baby too. So imagine if a 90s baby is having sex like that. Imagine you dealing with an 80s and potentially a late 70s baby. They're having a lot of sex. Like, no joke. They're going through man and man and man. And I don't think these men they're dealing with are in relationships with them. Most likely they just want the sex. Thank you, Queen of Virtue. Look out for her. She's going to soon touch 1K subscribers. And once she does, I'm definitely going to do an interview with this lovely lady you see here on the screen. So a lot of women are having sex, fellas. And the body counts are going to be much greater than yours, depending if you're a man that's able to get coochie like that, get some real skin like that. Which most, from what I'm noticing from the small data presented, is that women are just out here cheating as much as men, but only less than 2 points. Let's say roughly in the mid-20 range percent, men are still up there so-called cheating, if I want to call it like that. I mean, I don't know why people still call this cheating when a man does it, but okay, fine. And women are just 2 points below that, roughly 24%, which is up there, but let's be honest. Women in this society do have it easy when to get and ride the carousel much easier, much successful than most dudes could ride the coochie carousel, or we like to call, pouncing on the pussy ride. Yes, yes. And if y'all don't believe me, I'm gonna give you a nice quiz for the next one we deal with if you want to really debunk this. If you're around a nice, lovely lady, listen good. Let me get close to so y'all can hear me. Listen good. Always give her the one night stand test, I like to call it. What I mean by this, the one night stand test is this. Lady, this is a simple answer question. If I take one set man on one side and I take one set woman on the other side, and I present to them a contest, and I said, go out in the environment and just walk up to a random person. Normally, I would say prefer the opposite sex. If you're a man, you must seek women, and you as women, you seek men. And you go into the environment, and you tell them up front, you meet a person random and say, hello, how you doing? You want to have sex? Now, they'll laugh at you and look at you hard, say, and say, no, and you asking me, tell them, I'm dead serious. You want to ask? 9/10 of the time, that person that you confront, they either will say yay or nay and agree to the bedroom sex. And you do this for a span of a whole day, 24 hours. And after both you and him go forth out the world and ride the sexual carousel, you come back to each other and say, how many of either man or woman will have easier time getting sex? Now, listen good. And I want you to form this question to your person that you're sexually interested in or whatever, and see what answer she gives you. Now, mind you, most women, and I'm be honest with you, gentlemen, listen to me good. Most women will ask their lady that they're sexually attracted to, that they want to have sex with, or just in general, just want to further question just to see her response. They say, who will win this contest between having sex in one day? Majority of women, and I'm saying this with a smile on my face and being dead serious, majority of women will say a man will win this contest than a woman. How I know? Because I create this question personally. And what I found when I asked the few women, or just one or two, not much women, this question, the reason why they think that a man will get more pussy than she'll get more dick is simple, because she think the man, depending on his economic status or his looks or something, that a woman is going to just gracefully open up her legs to that set man. But for God's sake, that you have 24 hours. Most likely, this man, if he is drinking his juice, and depending on his age and then his health, he will most likely, on the average, in one day, he will have sex, if give and take, 4 to 5 people, depending. Maybe 6, maybe. Unlike a woman, she knows she always got access, and she will always get some dick easier and go through man in a span of 24 hours. And you could also notice this analogy works well is you look at porn actors. They got some called it's not a brothel. I think it's called gangbang, right? Now, mind you, the reason why I'm bring this to your attention is a woman can never be done when it comes to sex. She could open her legs, get as much dick as possible, and still keep it pushing She might get sore depending on the situation, depending on who she's messing with. But overall, after that man's done, she can move on to the next dude. The dude agrees that if she tells this set man, say you want to have sex, most men will turn down. I doubt it. Most men will agree to, because let's be honest, women always have access to sex and have it easier than a man, no matter of the economic status of the man or his looks. Because men have to, by default, got to do things to get into women's pants on the average. And that's the honest truth that people don't really talk about. So knowing this, it baffles me why women will think the opposite, because they're not being honest with you brothers when in answering that question, because they know in their heart that if they really have the constitution, they could sleep with many dudes they want and they won't have to turn a blind eye and will get the sex easy. No matter if she's cute, good looking, cute body, slim, or she's even fat. That's how it works. That's how it works. So, like I said, if you got understanding of this, do what I said. Use this question analogy or question to your next female friend or whatever, and see the response she gives to you. And I guarantee she's going to give you what I'm answering, the opposite answer, what she said that a man will win. And the reason why they'll tell you that, brothers, because they think in their mind that you're stupid and you're not. And someone will act dumb and think they're not really understand the question. They understand the question very well. Is they won't answer it because now they say, my God, I am in control of sex. Uh-oh, I do control sex, acts of sex. But a lot of people never think about that. Yeah. You know, if you want to support the channel, the link's there. But yeah, I just want y'all to really think about that and think long and hard. So, moving forward, other things I do want to say. And I'll say this, that you must understand that you as a man, we already know that you are behind the 8 ball when it comes to the system in regards to your own children. We all know this. And a lot of women are knowing of this as well. And what I've understand or known that they should make it hard for you to be involved with your children. And the reason why, fellas, because it's more of control. And one thing any human being wants than anything else is power and control. And as you know, ladies do exemplify and want that power and control. And the only power and control they really have is really here in the soils and the hells of North America, America especially. And they exude their power constantly. They're no stranger of knowing what their worth is and the power they hold and present. I'm just looking now. Okay. Oh, wow. I'm just looking at some things, guys. 1 second. And the thing that I've understand is that you got to understand that no matter what you could do, you're always going to be put in a risk as a man in this environment. And it's intentional for you to be put in a risk because you do hold the control of where your wallet goes. And the system only thrives once men are in the same consumption nature like the woman. And from their studies and their data and what they have understand about the male species or the opposite sex is that most males are not really driven to be consumers. So what's the best way to still get that dollar out of that so-called set man? You must make the environment very unconducive for his natural survival, meaning that he deals with the opposite sex and he knocks her up, this woman has the power to do two things. She can get child support from you, or even go as best if you marry her, she gets even more. But really, the woman holds the keys to really your control because there's other institutions in place to really protect her. And my thinking when I hear about women not being protected, you are protected because you have many things, especially if you're any group of women, whether white, black, etc. You have the court systems, you have the police systems, yeah, pretty much everything in your disposal. Now, if you're exercising the option to use it, that's solely determined by you. But nonetheless, this system is catered in the self-preservation of women because they need babies. They do need babies. And the system is going to make the environment conducive where you're going to produce these babies. Now, there are things and ways that they don't want to prevent these people having babies. And ways that is, like reversing Roe v. versus Wade or any other things to pull back where now you give power to the man if they decide to, knock up a woman, set woman, and she has to get a baby from term. That's one precaution. Another thing, also the system could protect and empower men, is to really make it a way where if you're in a relationship or marriage with this woman, that you must be involved. And it's going to be less than finance you got put into your child. You get 50 custodial of your children. So you got 50 say, 50 involvement with your own child. And trust me, these institutions and these things that's laid aside are coming down the pipe eventually. But the system knows how to really make this environment more conducive to man is by doing these small little things, which I said before. But the reason why they will not do that, because let's be honest, you got to be a consumer. Does not survive. Matter of fact, capitalism does not survive unless there is a consumer and a producer. And if you look at most of the majority we have in this country, is not really something that we produce enough to sustain a nation. We mostly, on the average, consume everything. Hope I'm not losing y'all. If somebody's still present listening, please hit number 1 or something. That's how it works. Now, for me, the solutions I lay out, and I'm always positive in my answers and my rhetoric of the solution to the problem in regards to saving both the boys and the girls, especially the boys, because the boys need more saving than the girls. Thank you. Is that you must give your children to the father. Now, if y'all new to this channel, if you go back from my catalog, I've covered a few streams on this, and there are some videos now on this channel that have gone in about and asked the question, are you willing to give custody or give your son to the father? And the reason why I say this, and I keep reiterating this sometimes on my channel or other platforms, is because what I've concluded, majority of women, especially black women, since we're going to go there, are not going to relinquish the boys to the fathers. Whether the fathers are involved or not. And the reason why that is a slave mentality they suffer, and on it is a power thing. Because if you could control the minds of your sons, you could have a nice control little buck out here in the streets. Which I'm gonna have to say this personally. The children that are the boys that become men of tomorrow are birthed and groomed by you ladies. The same boys that you complain and call them F boys and all that stuff, you raise them and produce them and nurture them. You want mediocrity for your sons. You take all the positive praise and never the fault and blames if your own seeds F up. And you cannot, and I repeat, you cannot have it both ways. You must take all the glories and the consequence. That's how life works. But in this Western society, I see why most don't do that, because let's be honest, it's hard to take criticism. How you see men all day, every day, are criticized for every little thing, even small things that some of them not even involved. But it's comfortable to do that because you push the burden on somebody else instead of taking the blame for oneself. And I tell most black men personally, you waste your time if you try to hold this chick responsible for accountability. Stop it. She knows what she's doing, and she's not gonna be accountable. She don't want to be accountable. She rather have you deal with the burden and makes it easier on her so that way she don't feel she's a F up. That's what it is. So majority of women are not willing to relinquish the power or custody of their black sons. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I hear this ridiculous rhetoric from not only women that are modern women, but I'm hearing this from women that are pro-blacks as well. Can you imagine that? And I understand why that is. And I know why, because it's a slave mentality to say, I need control of these boys. I wanted to hope that my son, if I do enough or let some other dude, i.e. stepdaddy, step in or somebody to groom my boys, that he'll be somewhat of a rich young man, which he'll eventually help me and replacement of an actual husband figure, i.e. buy me a house. It is what it is. It is what it is. That's what's happening. That's what they're hoping. That's what they're yearning for. At the end of the day, they need that. They do need that. So they prepare their sons for mediocrity and, I'm sorry to say, failure out here in the Western world. And they do it with a smile on their face every day, all day, every day. I mean, I hear the stories of certain women that in schools have said that if they let the boy be in these institutions and put him in front of certain people, they're eventually going to get it. But when last time I checked, the same statistical data that these dumb people you be using, it showed evident these boys are not doing well under your care. Even they're not doing well in regards going through the institution of what we call the prison pipeline school system. Because they should be failing because there's no guidance. There's no one really grooming and raising them and giving them order in their lives. Majority of children that turn to criminal acts are looking for order and guidance. They have to go to the street because they want to be around male presence. And usually the male presence that's out here are the same ones that never had no male presence at all. But they sure as hell doing non-criminal, actually criminal acts that will put your children or your child, your son at risk for the streets. And I'm not talking about, she belongs to the street. I'm talking about just normal children that are out here in the streets, living it up, figuring it out. It's a very dangerous scenario if you think about it. Let me check something. I'm trying to think of something else out here. And another thing, because I'm doing this, in regards to what a woman should do, if she has to fend this by herself and the dude that she choose that doesn't want no involvement with her and her child, what should she do? Well, the next best thing is you see, my thing with stepdaddies, and my biggest issue about it, and I have problems with it now in this society, is that a stepdaddy, if you're gonna have one or you're gonna look for one, he should have kids of his own to balance out your kids so you're like a whole family. It should not be some dude that doesn't have kids playing a father role to children that he did not produce. Now, mind you, that was a generation thing. Mostly people that are Gen Xers and maybe an earlier millennial in the early 80s possibly will vouch to be a stepdaddy. But anyone past late 80s, going to 90s, they're not really known or comfortable playing those stepdaddy role now in the 21st century. Hell, they didn't want to play in the last decade. And you think they're going to play stepdaddy now in the 21st century, especially the first generation of the 21st century? I don't think so. I don't think so. So if the man that you choose that you had sex and had a kid with doesn't want no involvement with you or the kid, then the second best thing is you better find another man that has kids and make that a whole family. And let's be honest, I think it makes better sense if you have kids and he has kids, you have something to work out, and both of y'all have something to lose. Because most dudes that have kids, and you have kids, they probably will make greater fathers. Because most men right now, they want to start their own legacy and have their own kids. That's why you see some of them do one or two things. Wait till they're older, or they get their money up to the point where they say, okay, I can risk it. But most dudes today, if you listen, ladies, are not thrilled to being stepdaddies now. And I think most of them should be, because really true, you should start a clean slate if you've been keeping yourself, productive. You don't need to be defending no one else's kids that choose not to be responsible. And most women, a lot of dudes, when they look at, they're not really good with their wombs. So yeah, it's a problem. So this is the layout of the message I lay out for the single mothers. Now, I did give a solution just now. If you're going to have to do this, and I know most women are not going to find other men with children because they have a mentality that if I'm gonna deal with a man, he better not have no kids, which is preposterous because you came in the game, in the table with kids already. No man wants no burden. And here's the problem with you having your own kids, or you lady, you come with kids. A man cannot discipline your own child, boy or girl, which is a problem because most children, let's be honest, they're not comfortable being under the rulership of someone that's not their biological father. Matter of fact, they do resent any man that's not their father on the table trying to raise them on the average as well. So it made better sense that, if the so-called baby daddy that you knocked up or you're shacking up with, you better make good with him and enjoy life. Or other than that, if he doesn't want to do with you and he doesn't want, no involvement with the child, then a man that has kids already should be the next alternate solution. I would normally say that most women that have kids shouldn't have no father, no stepdad at all. They should be raising the children, but we all know that most of these kids need some male guidance, unfortunately. So I would say the dudes that do have kids out here, they will make just as good as stepfathers than the men that don't have kids. And I think most women should take that offer and start exploring that. Just to be fair. Yeah. So I think I lay out all the information. I think I gave y'all enough on this stream. And I think moving forward, I'm still trying to think what I'm going to take the channel and where it's going. I'm still figuring it out. But like I said, I'll probably go do something a little bit different. And hell, this might be one of the few last live streams of 2021. And I think this is the most streams I've done so far since I started this channel, now that I think about it. And I don't think y'all should expect more like this every week. Because I tell you, this takes a lot of work doing this type of content, I'm not the person that sit there like to be doing reactionaries, visuals, and which I probably will do more depending on how I'm going to take this channel moving forward. But nonetheless, I always come off the dome, express my thoughts and feelings to the people, and like I said, I'm Chaos Reign, and usually with a greater chaos, it'll take a much extremer chaos to restore the order in which the world you live in today. And I think most people don't want order. They want chaos and destruction. People feel and rule under chaos and disorder. And like most people that do content, they will give you that disorder and chaos because that's what you want. So you're going to get what you wish for. And like always, me as a content creator, I might oblige your wishes. We shall see. But anyway, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit the red button, top bell, for notifications when there's an upload or a live stream here in the Chaos Rain channel. Also, follow me on Twitter at Chaos Rain 7. And you can now add me a friend on Facebook, Eric Rain on Facebook. And I'll probably leave a link to this core service also in the description of this stream. Thank y'all for listening to this one of the streams, rolling out the next year moving forward. So like always, you know where to catch Chaos Rain, like always. Hold on. You know where to catch me, people. The Chaos Rain.